I thought I was being the cool wife when I let him flirt online. Now his fantasy girlfriend is giving our daughter DS in math. Yeah, that's the sentence I never imagined saying out loud. But here I am, telling the internet because if I don't, I might actually explode from how stupid I feel. Let's rewind. 2 years ago, my husband and I hit a wall. A not enough sex, too much Netflix, dead bedroom kind of wall. You know the type, when even hugging feels like you're doing laundry together. I'd just had a baby. Our second. My boobs were a war zone, my hormones were rewriting my personality, and he missed feeling desired. Cue the world's tiniest violin. We went to couples therapy. She suggested we try safe fantasy exploration to reignite things. Her words, not mine. And I, being tired, desperate, and frankly too emotionally constipated to fight, said sure. Fine, whatever. Let the man text his imaginary elves and warrior princesses or whatever weird pixel-stained corner of the internet he needed. There were rules. Rule 1, no real names. Rule 2, no IRL meetups. Rule 3, keep it fantasy, keep it clean. I should have added, don't fall in love with the goddamn math teacher. At the time, I thought it was helping. He was lighter, more relaxed, even washed a dish now and then. I thought maybe this was just like watching porn but with dialogue, digital foreplay for the imagination, whatever. And then came the parent-teacher conference. Her name was Miss Landry. 30-something, glasses, sharp chin, pencil skirts and blouses with just enough ruffle to make you wonder what she wore off campus. She taught math like she was seducing equations. And my daughter, who used to love numbers, suddenly started coming home saying, Miss Landry says I don't focus. We sat across from her, in those tiny elementary school chairs. She smiled with her mouth, but not her eyes. My husband couldn't look up from the table. I thought it was nerves. Or maybe guilt that he wasn't helping her with her homework. What I didn't know was that he already knew her voice. Because they'd been moaning each other's screen names in private DMs since before she joined the damn school. It gets worse. So much worse. Last week, I went looking for a PDF on his laptop. He asked me to email it for him while he wrangled the toddler. I wasn't snooping, I wasn't even thinking about it. But then I saw it. The open tab. A chat window. With a little avatar that looked suspiciously like our PTA login photo, just sexier. Same hair, same glasses, same name. No freaking way. At first, I thought I was losing it. So I clicked. The messages were, well, let's just say she had a talent for describing corsets. And apparently, detention meant something entirely different in their role play. I scrolled. And scrolled. 2 years worth of fantasy, gifts, homework punishments, and lingerie photos she'd sent from her own kitchen, recognizable by the same damn backsplash I'd seen in a class Zoom call. I just sat there. Laptop open. Heart in my throat. My daughter's math teacher was my husband's secret fantasy mistress. And apparently, they'd been playing naughty report card games while she was flunking my kid. I wanted to throw the laptop through the window. Instead, I took a screenshot. Then 10 more. Because this wasn't just cheating. This was calculated, sustained, permission-abusing deception. And worse, he used my trust to justify it. I'm not sleeping with her, he'd probably argue. It's just pixels. Oh yeah. Tell that to my daughter, who now thinks she's bad at math, because her teacher's keeping score with her dad under a different name. I slammed the laptop shut and walked out. Didn't say a word. Didn't trust myself, too. That night, I sat in the dark with a glass of wine, scrolling through their entire fantasy timeline. Every single message. And that's when the fire started building in my chest. Because if he thought I was going to play the dumb, humiliated housewife, He really didn't know who he married. I didn't say anything the next morning. Not at breakfast, when he poured the last of the oat milk into his protein shake like a smug little fitness influencer. Not when he kissed the top of our daughter's head and said, "Be good for Miss Landry." Like that didn't sound suddenly filthy in context. Not even when he winked at me on his way out the door. But something in me snapped the second that door closed. I sat down on the kitchen tile with a cold cup of coffee and pulled up the chat again on my phone. He hadn't logged out. His last message, sent after midnight. "Can't wait for our next detention session. Smiling face with horns, you still got that ruler." I think I actually gagged. A ruler. I'm married to a man whose libido is powered by school supplies. I couldn't stop scrolling. She was good, I'll give her that. She played the perfect role. Flirty but innocent, professional during the day, full-on disciplinary goddess by night. She even sent voice notes. You know what's horrifying? Recognizing a woman's voice moaning in a chat, then realizing it's the same voice that read "The Hungry Caterpillar" to your daughter 3 weeks ago at open house. The rage started low and slow, like a pot on simmer. And then it boiled over. I printed everything. Every last screenshot. Made a neat little folder, labeled it Parent-Teacher Communication, because I'm a petty little librarian when I need to be. And I waited. That Friday was the school fundraiser. Bake sale. Face painting. Popcorn machines. All that suburban chaos where the moms wear mama bear shirts and the dads forget their kids' allergies. Miss Landry was there, of course. Perfect blouse. Tight little pencil skirt. Laughing too loudly at some dad's joke about square roots and cupcakes. And my husband. Hovering near her like a wasp around an open soda. I watched them from the juice box table. They weren't touching. But the air between them. You could slice it with a PTA name badge. She looked over. Saw me. Smiled. I smiled back. And that was the moment. Right then. That millisecond when her eyes flickered, because she knew. She knew I knew. And I think she liked it. Because some women don't just want the man. They want the wife to watch them take him. I should have walked away. Should have kept it civil. Instead, I walked right up, fake laughed at her dumb cupcake pun, and leaned in like I was sharing a secret. My daughter been having trouble with math, I said. I was hoping maybe you could. Discipline her father instead. Her face cracked for a second. Just a flicker. Then she laughed. But it was nervous. Tight. Her eyes darted to my husband. Who, by the way, was now sweating more than the guy running the popcorn machine. I turned to him and said, "You want to tell her, or should I bring my printed folder to the school board Monday?" He started to stammer. Something about boundaries, and this wasn't what it looked like. I cut him off. "Oh, please, you were sexting her from our Alexa while I was giving birth. Not my finest hour. But poetic, don't you think? People were watching. Moms. Teachers. Principal Nguyen pretending to rearrange bottled water, but definitely listening in. I smiled. Walked away. My husband followed me to the car like a golden retriever who knows he peed on the rug. "I swear it never went physical," he said. "It was just roleplay, just fantasy." I started the engine. Turned the AC on full blast. "You humiliated me. You sabotaged our kid. And you gave our entire marriage to someone who grades in red ink." He said nothing. And in that silence, I realized something. I wasn't going to fix this. I wasn't going to forgive this. I was going to end this. But not like a woman scorned. Like a woman who knows how to hit record, upload files, and CC the right people. Because if he thought role-playing was harmless, he hadn't seen the game I was about to play. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was crying. Not even because I was angry anymore. I didn't sleep because I was planning. You know those crime podcasts where the wife just snaps and poisons his protein powder? Yeah, that wasn't me. I didn't want jail time. I wanted proof, leverage, and public decimation. I started with the obvious. I bought a tiny recorder. Nothing sketchy. Amazon sells them as student lecture tools. 5-star reviews from college kids, and apparently betrayed wives with PTA badges. Then I emailed Miss Landry. Hi, I'd love to meet about Grace's math performance. It seems her grades have dipped a bit, and I want to make sure we're doing everything we can to help. Could we meet in person? She replied in under 5 minutes. Absolutely, I'd be happy to. I have a break period after 1 p.m. Thursday. Just come to my classroom. A smiley face. Exclamation points. It was giving overcompensating, villainous trying to seem relatable. I didn't respond. I just marked my calendar, charged the recorder, and printed 5 fresh copies of the chat logs. 2 for me. 1 for the school board. 1 for the parent WhatsApp group. 1 for backup. Thursday came. I dressed like I was interviewing for her job. Sharp black blazer. Neutral lipstick. Nothing too flashy, just enough to scream competent, calm, and ready to ruin you. Her classroom smelled like cinnamon gum and printer toner. She offered me a seat. I declined. I wanted to stand. I wanted her to look up at me. We exchanged the usual pleasantries. Then I leaned in, tapped the stack of papers in my purse, and said, I think we should talk about more than Grace's homework. Her smile didn't even flicker. The woman had ice in her veins. I'm not sure what you mean. So I pulled out a page. One of their tamer exchanges. Something about her playing a strict headmistress, while he earned extra credit. Her pupils dilated. That was the only tell. She didn't gasp. Didn't fumble. She just stared. How long? I asked. She blinked. Excuse me. How long have you been sexting my husband? Just so I can get the timeline right for the superintendent. That got her. It wasn't sexual, she said. It was fantasy. He said you were okay with it. He also said Grace had ADHD. You believed that too. Silence. Funny how her grades dropped right around the time you two started role-playing detention. She didn't deny it. Didn't confirm it. She just looked at me. You'll ruin his life, she finally said. Oh no, I smiled. You already did. I'm just putting it in writing. I turned on my heel and walked out. By 4 p.m., I had emailed the principal and the district supervisor with a full report. Chat logs. Screenshots. A polite but firm summary of the unethical conduct affecting a student's academic standing. By 5:30, I uploaded an anonymous PDF bundle to the parent group chat. Captioned it, FYI, check who's really behind your kids' poor math scores. Within minutes, I had 3 moms DM me asking if this was real. By 6 p.m., the entire chat exploded. One dad posted, she taught my son last year, this explains a lot. At 7:42 p.m., I got an email from the school board. We are taking this very seriously. Miss Landry has been placed on administrative leave effective immediately. I didn't reply. Just stared at my phone in silence. My husband walked in at 8:03. His face. Ghost white. Did you? He started. She's gone, I said. From school, from your browser history, from our lives. He sat down. Hard. You don't understand. She was there for me when I felt invisible. You were invisible because I was raising our kids while you played Dungeon Daddy with a public school teacher. He looked like he wanted to argue. He didn't. Because deep down he knew. He didn't just cheat. He weaponized my permission, humiliated me, and used our daughter as a pawn in his own sexual fantasy. and I just made it all public. But I wasn't done. By Friday morning, my inbox was a war zone. Parents forwarding the PDF thread to each other with subject lines like "unreal" and "this woman taught our children." A local mom blogger, me on Facebook. Is this real or some viral campaign? Another one posted a blurry screenshot of the chat log to her Instagram story with the caption, "The math teacher at Roosevelt Elementary say it ain't so." But the part that told me things had officially gone nuclear. Channel 4 News emailed me at 11:06 a.m. "We're investigating a tip involving inappropriate educator conduct affecting minors. Would you be willing to comment, even anonymously?" I didn't answer. I wasn't ready for the internet to connect Jenna, room mom, with woman who leaked sexts to the entire PTA. Not yet. At noon, my husband called me from the office. I didn't pick up. He left a voicemail. It's everywhere now. People at work know. My boss said there's a formal review pending. You didn't just take her down, you took me down too. Oh, honey. That was the point. But still, I'll admit, something about hearing his voice cracked a piece of me open. Not out of sympathy. More like disbelief. Because he said it like he was the victim. As if I had dragged him into some mess. As if I hadn't just sat through 2 years of being emotionally benched, while he lived out his cosplay kink with someone grading our kids' math tests. That afternoon, I picked up Grace from school. The hallway buzzed with gossip. Teachers whispering in doorways. One of the lunch ladies gave me a solemn little nod, like I'd just survived combat. Grace hopped into the car, humming. "Miss Landry's not coming back," she said, chewing on a gummy bear. "Principal Nguyen said she got in trouble. Did you know that?" I didn't answer at first. Then I asked carefully, "Do you feel relieved?" She nodded, not even looking up. She always made me feel dumb. Like if I got one thing wrong, it meant I was a bad kid. I had to grip the steering wheel tighter to keep from crying. "You're not a bad kid," I said. "You're brilliant." And in that moment, I felt this strange, sharp mixture of triumph and shame. Because I had done something. I had protected her. But not just from bad grades. From a system that rewards silence. From adults who think consequences are optional if you smile pretty enough. Still, that night, lying in bed alone, I asked myself a question I hadn't dared to before. Did I go too far? Was it too public? Too nuclear? I mean, it wasn't illegal. But was it cruel? And then I remembered. I'd asked for honesty. He gave me performance. I asked for boundaries. He turned that into a loophole. And when I said stop, he said, "You're just being controlling." No. I wasn't controlling. I was done being controlled. Still, the fallout didn't end there. That weekend, we visited my in-laws. Because of course my mother-in-law had questions. She brought it up between scoops of potato salad like we were discussing the weather. I just think maybe this could have stayed private. I nearly choked on my water. "You mean your son could have kept his fantasy life off school property?" She winced. "Well, it's not like he slept with her. You did say it was just chat." Right, just 2 years of chat, while our daughter's grades tanked, while I was doing everything, while he played horny Hogwarts. The table went silent. My husband just looked down at his plate, like the mashed potatoes were going to swallow him whole. On the drive home, he finally spoke. "I messed up, but did you have to make it so public?" And I snapped. "Yes, because I had to watch you play house in secret. Now the world gets to watch you explain it." He didn't respond. Because what was there to say? He didn't lose his job, but the promotion he'd been chasing, gone. Half his team started calling him Detention Daddy behind his back. I found out because his assistant DM'd me on Instagram. And Miss Landry. Gone. Not just from the school. From social media. From LinkedIn. from every place a public persona might live. Vanished. And yet I still didn't feel done. Because even if the school board burned her file, even if the whole city blocked her number, I still had to see his face every day. The man who told me it was just a game. I thought taking them both down would feel like fireworks. But it felt more like sweeping up the confetti the next morning. Quiet, sticky, lonely. It turns out, revenge doesn't end with a final punch, it just sort of trails off. And I was stuck in the aftermath. For a week, I walked around like someone left on, "Do not disturb." I dropped Grace off at school, pretended I didn't notice the other moms side-eyeing me like I was both a hero and a nuclear threat. Some of them whispered, "Good for her." Some not so subtle. "It's just roleplay, can't she take a joke?" "Oh sure, Karen." I'll be laughing right after I explain to my kid why her teacher hated her for knowing too much without knowing anything at all. At home, I avoided him like it was my second job. We lived in this weird, polite limbo. He slept in the guest room, made his own dinner, didn't even touch the remote, which felt significant for a man who used to hoard it like Gollum. One night, I walked into the kitchen and found him staring at a photo on the fridge. It was Grace's first day of school. She was holding a sign, "Future Engineer." Miss Landry had written that on the back of her math worksheet, in red ink with a star. The irony almost knocked me flat. "I never meant to hurt anyone," he said, eyes still fixed on the photo. I didn't answer. Not because I didn't have words, oh, I had paragraphs, but because none of them mattered anymore. He started talking, telling me how it started as fun, how she understood him, how I'd changed after the baby. I stopped him. "You think I changed? I was recovering from surgery, feeding a human every 2 hours, and Googling whether it was safe to cry into formula. Of course I changed." He didn't argue. He just nodded. "I was selfish." "You were a coward," I said, "and you used my trust as permission to cheat." Silence again. I wanted to ask him how many nights he stared at her avatar while I lay awake on the other side of the bed, wondering if I'd ever feel desirable again. But I didn't. Because I already knew. You don't sext a woman for 2 years and still call it harmless. You don't neglect your wife emotionally and sexually and pretend it's just a phase. You don't gaslight the mother of your children into thinking roleplay is a solution when what you really want is an escape. I walked upstairs that night, brushed my teeth like a robot, and stood in front of the mirror. And for the first time, I didn't see the woman he cheated on. I saw someone who survived it. I saw the woman who kept the receipts, who lit the match, who made sure no one else would get detention for telling the truth. But I also saw someone tired, exhausted in her bones. Because even when you win, you lose something. Naivety. Softness. The ability to trust the next smile, the next apology, the next perfectly folded hoodie on a shared bed. Still, I wasn't broken. Bruised, hell yes. But not broken. Later that week, Grace brought home a test. She got a 98. New teacher. New energy. Same brilliant little girl. She handed it to me and said, "I knew I wasn't dumb, Mom, she just didn't like me." I hugged her so hard, she dropped her pencil. "You're not dumb," I whispered, "you're magic." And that night, when I finally lay in bed alone, I realized something terrifying and beautiful. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. Done fighting. Done proving. Done carrying his shame like it was mine. The war was over. And I'd won. But wars don't leave you clean. They leave you standing in the smoke, looking around at what's left and asking, "Now what?" I didn't expect the email from the reporter. Especially not weeks later, after things had already gone quiet. After the drama faded, and people stopped pretending to whisper behind their hands. But there it was. Subject line: Follow up on the Roosevelt roleplay scandal, seeking your voice. Apparently, someone on the school board leaked my documents to the press. Not the redacted ones. The full ones. The chat logs. The screenshots. Even the MP3 from the recorded meeting. Part of me was horrified. Another part, weirdly, relieved. Because I didn't leak it. But I wasn't about to stop it either. The story broke a day later. Local elementary teacher on leave after sexting allegations tied to student's parent. It wasn't my name, but it was my life. The comments section lit up with the usual internet bile. She probably seduced him. Bet the wife was frigid. Can't blame the guy, he was just role-playing. But there were other comments too. From women. From moms. From people who saw the subtext behind the scandal. This is what happens when emotional cheating is minimized. Fantasy doesn't stay fantasy when it starts controlling real-life consequences. She did what most of us only dream of. She didn't just survive it, she exposed it. I didn't reply to any of them. Didn't need to. The story did something I didn't know I needed. It validated me. Because for so long, I'd felt like I was overreacting. Like maybe it was just harmless chat. Like maybe I was too bitter. Too loud. Too much. But now people knew. And not just about them. About me. About how we're taught to excuse betrayal when it doesn't come with lipstick on the collar. That weekend, we were invited to a birthday party for one of Grace's classmates. Balloon animals. Vase paint. Juice boxes. I almost didn't go. Almost said no. But then something strange happened. One of the moms, the kind who used to smile at me like I was an unstable Pinterest board, walked over and handed me a cup of Sprite. Just wanted to say, good for you, seriously. Then she leaned in and whispered. Mine was texting his gym accountability partner at midnight. You gave me the guts to ask for the password. I blinked. And he moved out last night. She clinked her cup against mine and walked away. And for the first time in a long time, I laughed. Not the sarcastic, dead-inside laugh I'd mastered, but a real one. Because sometimes, revenge isn't a slap, it's a ripple. It echoes. It hits the women behind you, who are still swallowing their suspicions with a side of guilt. That night, my husband came to me again. Same pleading eyes. Same sagging posture. Same little boy voice, trying to sound like a grown man. I want to fix this, he said. Us, the family. I nodded. Because I believe people can change. Just not for me. Good, I said. Fix it, be a better dad, be a better man. Just don't think you get to have me while you're doing it. He opened his mouth to argue. I held up my hand. You role-played your way out of this marriage. Time to live in the real world now. And I walked away. No dramatic exit. No slamming doors. Just me, quiet, steady, choosing peace over chaos for the first time in years. So yeah, I let him role-play. But in the end, I rewrote the ending. And I made damn sure he'll never confuse fantasy with forgiveness again. Looking back now, maybe I should have shut the laptop. Maybe I should have let her keep her job and let him keep his fantasy. But maybe, just maybe, this was the only way to remind both of them. If you play stupid games, don't be surprised when you win very real consequences. Subscribe to my Mia's Stories YouTube channel for raw, emotional stories and authentic insights that encourage healing, growth, and understanding. Don't forget to be part of a supportive space where stories inspire and lessons resonate. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion truly matters to us, and we're here for you.